Hey, Jason, who's the smartest character in the Marvel Comics universe?
Reed Richards.
Nope, it's Lunella Lafayette, and your geek history lesson on Moon Girl is now in session. Hello, and welcome to Geek History Lesson. I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And I'm Jason. Reed Richards is definitely the smartest person in the Marvel Universe. I don't care what this book says or this lesson says. Reed Richards is definitely the smartest person in the Marvel Universe.
He's absolutely not.
Inman, welcome to Geek History Lesson, the podcast where we're going to tell you everything you need to know about your favorite characters in pop culture. And today, we are talking about a really fun girl. A girl that some might say has her head in a circle full of cheese. That's what we used to think the moon was. We used to think the moon was full of cheese. Talking about Moon Girl. And her favorite, Devil Dinosaur, who's a personal favorite of mine, who listeners will know if you are a longtime listener of Geek History Lesson. Way back in the day when we did an episode, I believe, Best X-Men Teams, I put old Devil Dinosaur on my favorite X-Men team. So I'm a big old fan of the Devil Dinosaur.
You do? Yeah, you are. You are. Do you know why we're doing this episode?
I actually don't. Why are we doing this episode, Ashley?
So Disney Plus is actually doing an animated series called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Get out. No, the podcast.
And
no, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And she's going to be voiced by Diamond White, who's a really well-known Broadway musical theater actress. She's probably most known on screen for playing Paris in The Bold and the Beautiful.
Good for her.
But yeah, man, a soap opera's a great gig.
No, I was not making fun.
I know. But like all things this year, Disney Plus hasn't given us a release date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only release date we have at the time of this recording is Moon Knight, which when we made this year's schedule, we didn't have a date for Moon Knight. So now we're doing a Moon Knight episode. So
wow, I'm really excited. This is such a great idea for a cartoon.
Yeah. So we thought we would put it here because we just finished talking to everybody about the Young Avengers, and she's even younger than the Young Avengers. So we're talking about Moon Girl.
And she's never been on the Young Avengers, which is kind of strange, right?
She's only been on one team, which I definitely thought she was on the Champions, but I was wrong. In my opinion, a travesty.
Well, she's a youngin'.
She's quite young.
She's not. Is she a teenager?
No.
She's not a teenager. Not quite a teenager, but definitely a moon girl.
Yeah, I mean, I would have whacked her on the FF.
Disney
personally.
Plus, I am available for a theme song anytime. Okay. Is by some astounding chance of stellar cartography, did one of our listeners request a Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur episode?
No, shame on all of you.
No, don't shame them.
Shame.
No.
Shame.
It's not Game of Thrones.
Shame.
Let's not do that.
We are celebrating Hannah Waddington. Shame.
Everybody out there, just want to remind you that if you do want to suggest a future history lesson on anything in the world of geek or not, we'll do NASCAR. Sure.
Will we?
No, we won't. But maybe geeky NASCAR. I don't know. Anyways, you can do that on our Twitter at GHL Podcast or at our Facebook at facebook.com/Geek History Lesson. And we also have a new Instagram over at Geek History Lesson over there. But DMs on Instagram are so weird, so I would recommend probably not suggesting a lesson over there. Just
Twitter's the best place, honestly.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yes, you can request it in all of our official social medias.
Yeah, so there you go.
What's the first part of the podcast?
First part of the podcast is the 10-cent origin, where Ashley's going to give you the cliff notes of everything you need to know about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in case you are at a Disney Plus cocktail party, but they don't tell you the date of the Disney Plus cocktail party. They just keep you wandering outside the studios in Burbanks, and you're just screaming at the top of your lungs to the security guard, "This is who Moon Girl is!" You'll be able to tell that security guard exactly who Moon Girl is.
So, Jason, why do you think they called her Lunella?
Can I just make a crazy guess?
Sure.
Was she born on the moon?
No, she was not. No, it's not that fun.
That is possible in the Marvel Universe.
Of course it is, but she was not born on the moon. She was born in New York, the center of the Marvel Universe.
Was it during like a full moon?
Yes.
Or a lunar eclipse?
I think full moon, yeah.
Okay.
No, because Luna is the moon. So we're going to get a lot of, she's going to start out as just kind of your regular superhero, and then we're going to get a lot of moony twists as we go along.
Is there going to be a lot of astrology in this lesson?
Not enough astrology, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of moon references.
We need more astrology in our Marvel comics.
A lot of moon references. So Lunella Lafayette, a.k.a. Moon Girl, a.k.a. Nella, a.k.a. that crazy fourth grader, that is their words, not mine, a.k.a. Adeze. Shout out to former Geek History lesson guest Jackie A for teaching me how to pronounce that name properly, is a Marvel Comics Inhuman superhero character and the smartest character in the 616 universe. Take that, all men. She was created by Brandon Montclair, Amy Reeder, and Natasha Bustos, and her first appearance was very handily in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1 from November of 2015, not 1915, 2015.
Yeah, I was like, what?
My mouth was running away with me. Her abilities include a superior intellect to everyone else in the 616 universe, intellect transference, strength transference, time travel, the ability to consume raw meat without poisoning herself.
What?
Yeah. Well,
that's a strange ability.
Well, I think it'll become clear why very soon.
Okay.
Self-endurance, inhuman healing, heightened hearing, and immortality. And her team affiliations include a noted partnership with Devil Dinosaur and the New Warriors. And that is your Tencent origin on Lunella Lafayette.
Ashley, I know we're not into the main discussion of our episode yet, but I have a question for you already out the gate. Because you've mentioned it like 3 times here. Will we explain why she's supposedly the definitive smartest person in the Marvel universe?
Yes,
we will.
And it happens canonically. There is a standard by which it is. Yes.
Well, listeners, it's like Chekhov's gun. I've parked it on the table.
Chekhov's intellect.
And Ashley's going to fire it somewhere in this podcast.
Yeah, about 3 pages into my notes.
Okay.
So what's the next part of the podcast, Jason?
Well, the next part is not apparently the firing of this gun.
No.
But it is the meet cute where we talk about, it's a term we stole from romantic comedies, where we tell you where we first meeted or cuted this character in comic books. Ashley, where did you first meet Moon Girl in Devil Dinosaur?
So I've been an Amy Reeder fan for a long time. I followed her work from indie comics over to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur when it was announced in 2015. So this is one of the few characters that I've read from her very first issue. So like Amy Reeder being on this book for me was like good enough that I was like, great, I'll be reading this book. And if anyone was reading Marvel around 2015, this was when every new character was an Inhuman. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel being the same thing. This was also around the same time that we were initially developing our graphic novel Science, The Elements of Dark Energy. So I was reading this series avidly, because one, I enjoyed it. Spoilers for the recommended reading, but also to see how the big two were doing like Super Science School characters, because we were about to do Super Science School characters.
Every character in the Marvel universe around this time was an Inhuman, because this was when
nobody was a mutant.
Well, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was unsure if they were ever going to get mutants. Remember those olden days when we thought that, the MCU, the Marvel Studios, would never have the X-Men because Fox would never let them go.
Well, the MCU should not have the X-Men.
I agree. And literally did we not realize that at some point Disney was going to,
like 5 years later, less than a decade later.
But it seems so long ago, was going to literally eat 20th Century Fox.
And like you mentioned earlier, I learned about Devil Dinosaur from when you put him on your X-Men team, because I didn't know who Devil Dinosaur was before then. So that's my meet cute. What's yours?
I mean, my meet cute for Moon Girl is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I read this book. It's been a while. I've only read it once, so I'm going to forget a lot of stuff you're going to tell me.
Yeah, finished in 2017, I believe.
But I really enjoyed it, especially all our interactions with Benjamin J. Grimm, the Thing.
Yeah, they're really cute.
But Devil Dinosaur is an old good old red dinosaur boy that I've known for a long time. I believe I first saw him in an X-Men comic book.
That would make sense to me, yeah.
Is where I first saw him, because the original Moonboy, I believe, was a monkey or a Neanderthal of some type.
Yeah, some kind of proto-human, yeah.
And
this is not the Moonboy episode,
no.
So...
well, I believe Devil Dinosaur was gallivanting all around the Savage Land.
Yes.
I believe that's where...
That is true.
I believe that's why I saw him in an X-Men comic book. And it kind of always stuck in my brain that there was a red T-Rex in the X-Men universe.
Bright red, Kirby bright red, definitely.
Oh, like tomato red,
yeah,
Superman,
fire truck red,
Superman red.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey everybody. Speaking of Superman red, you guys all know we're talking about comic books. We're talking about Moon Girl here. We all love superheroes here. That's why I hope you're here, because you love superheroes, and you especially know that we have a lot of love of Superman, and you should know that I've taken all my love of Superman, all my love of things like Devil Dinosaur, and I have poured it into a brand new comic book called Super Best Friend. This is issue 2, and it is on Kickstarter currently as we speak. It launched on February 1st, and it's going to end on March 2nd. And if you have never heard of my comic book, my 44-page comic book, not Jupiter Jet, that's also another one, Super Best Friend, here's what it is. In this 44-page second installment, Matty Moore, the best friend of the world's most popular superhero, Captain Terrific, he is struggling to survive a cyclone of cybernetic clones, electric doppelgangers, and army tanks that pursue him. It's an adventure that I've written full of Silver Age energy that examines the correlation between superheroes and their fandom. And after this zany journey, I can tell you this, Matty will not only climb the ladder to his destiny, he'll discover who his true super best friend is. We have a lot of amazing perks over on the campaign, and I've decided to make this comic book because indie comic books are passions of love, because you love comic books, because nobody gets into comic books to make money, and if anybody tells you that, well, then I have beachfront property in Arizona to sell you. But comic books, indie comic books are true adventures, true things of love, and I've poured all my love into this, so much so that I asked one of my favorite people in the universe and also former GHL guest, Superman artist Dan Jurgens, the creator of Booster Gold, to draw a variant cover, which you can only get on this campaign at superbestfriendcomic.com. There's lots of cool things, like an advertisement on Geek History Lesson is there. You can cameo in the book. I can read your script and give you notes. There's all kinds of amazing things, but they will only be on that campaign until March 2nd. So head on over to superbestfriendcomic.com on Kickstarter. It'll be all over my social medias. We need all of you to be super best friends and help me create the second part of the Super Best Friend trilogy. Yeah, that's right. I said trilogy. There'll be a Super Best Friend 3 if the campaign goes well. If the campaign doesn't go well, guess what? But it's going to go well because I know you're all going to show up, and it's very exciting, and you can only get this stuff for a limited time. So come over to superbestfriendcomic.com and check out Ashley's cameo. She cameos in the comic as a character.
I do.
As Tina Terrific.
Yeah.
When am I going to cameo in one of your comic books? When's that going to happen?
Whenever you want to, baby.
Right now.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Done.
All right, let's get to talking about some Moon Girl and some devilish dinosaur.
Yeah, what's the next part of the podcast?
The main discussion.
What's it called?
The main discussion.
No.
No, we're at the main discussion.
It's called the History 101.
Oh, sorry. It's the main meat. Well, who cares? We don't need these labels, Ashley. Just talk about Moon Girl.
Somebody tweet Jason and tell him that you care. So this character originated, Lunella, with Marvel Comics editors Mark Paniccia and Emily Shaw, who wanted another companion character to join Devil Dinosaur and bring him into a modern day setting. And it was explicitly not supposed to be a capes and tights type story. So in an interview about developing Lunella, artist Amy Reeder, who designed her, said, quote, "So she was just originally this character who was kind of like Inspector Gadget, but a little less campy, a little more knowing what she's doing, having gadgets come out of her backpack and whatever, and roller skating around the city and solving crimes kind of things. She was black, and then Marvel said a girl, and the only difference was I made her younger, and that made her even cooler. She's somebody who's kind of awkward and a bit off the beaten path, and people are not aware of her," end quote.
So she was probably originally a teenager then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, because this was the same time like Squirrel Girl was popping off.
Yep. It's a good choice to make her younger, I think.
Gwen, Miss America. Yes, they made her a little bit younger. We'll tell you how old she is in a little bit. So in 2015, the series is meant to be read as a direct sequel to the original Jack Kirby Moon Dash Boy and Devil Dinosaur, which ends in 1978.
That is quite a feat.
Yeah. So Jason, you're familiar with Moonboy, yeah?
Familiar.
Yeah. But just in as much as kind of what we talked about at the beginning, right? He is a proto-human who lives in the Savage Land with his dino.
Yeah. I've never read this series.
Okay, that's fine.
I will fully admit that.
It's not a test.
I will also say that it just never interested me.
That's okay.
Devil Dinosaur to me is a character that is, and we've talked about this, and this happens in comic books all the time, I'm more interested in the look of them than the story of them.
Yeah.
Until this series. Until the Lunella series.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Lunella Lafayette is a 9-year-old girl, and she loves inventing. She has a massive intellect, but she's not very good at school and is often caught daydreaming and ridiculed by her peers. Due to her spacey nature and affinity for all things space, Lunella's classmates tease her by calling her Moon Girl, because she's kind of moony and different. So during the first arc of her series, we actually flash to the Savage Land and we see the death of Moonboy at the hands of the Killer Folk. The Killer Folk are his OG Jack Kirby villains.
Cool.
That's kind of all you really need to know about them. Who, along with Devil Dinosaur, are sucked through time into modern day. And they were fighting over this mystical object known as the Night Stone. It is a glowy blue stone.
Got it.
So, when Devil Dinosaur emerged, he was at the center of the Marvel Universe, like we mentioned, New York City, where Lunella just so happens to live and where she just happens to have gotten her hands on the aforementioned Night Stone because comics. Using her super smarts, Lunella unravels the magic of the Night Stone into cold, hard science. So it's not magic. It is which alien do you think this belongs to, Jason?
The Night Stone?
Yeah. It's alien tech. So whose alien tech do you think it is?
Oh, I don't. Shi'ar?
No. Yeah, you went
from the X-Men?
You went too different. It is a Kree Omniwave projector.
Oh, I should have made. You're saying I should have been more basic. Well,
more basic. Yeah.
Well, in my head, I'm like Devil Dinosaur is in my head as X-Men character, so I went with the X-Men.
No,
aliens.
you literally picked too smart an answer.
Okay.
It's a Kree. It's a Kree stone, Kree weapon. So this directly related to Lunella because she discovered that she was a carrier of the Inhuman gene. And this was the time where a lot of Terrigen mists were blanketing New York. So just because you had the Inhuman gene didn't necessarily mean that it would be activated, but if you were bombarded with the Terrigen mists, it could be.
We should explain that the Terrigen mists are the Inhumans thing that gives them superpowers.
Yes. And being a child, she was afraid of being transformed into a horrible monster, which did sometimes happen. So she uses the Night Stone to remove all the Inhuman DNA from her body, or so she thinks. So Jason, real talk. If you learned that you had the X gene or Inhuman DNA and you had a chance to neutralize it, would you?
Okay, so we have to put this into some real terms here, right? Because that means that I would have had to have discovered it before I hit puberty.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
she's 9, so like.
Because otherwise, it's going to activate.
Because there was a little bit of when this happened. I remember people were like, "Why wouldn't you want superpowers?" And I was like, "Well, not everyone gets superpowers, and not everyone gets cool superpowers."
Well, some people turn into Beast.
Yeah.
Some people turn
into that tree that just walks around the X-Men campus.
Squid Boy. Think about Chamber, who blew off half his body.
Yeah.
I would say yes, just because I've read comic books.
Yeah.
But I would fully know that yes, I could come out of this looking like Wolverine.
There you go. Looking like Wolverine. What's wrong with Wolverine?
Have you seen?
He looks like a man.
Have you seen that little guy? He
looks like Hugh Jackman. He looks great.
He doesn't look like Hugh Jackman. That's movie. that's beautiful Hollywood. Wolverine.
Yassification of Wolverine.
Wolverine's a little shorty guy with hair in places you don't want hair.
Okay. So Devil Dinosaur couldn't.
Like his teeth.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. Keep going.
I did not.
The listeners heard me. Go.
Devil Dinosaur couldn't get Lunella to give up the Night Stone, so he took her with him to fight the Killer Folk. So despite the power of a telepathic dinosaur, they were actually able to steal the Night Stone away. So they get the Night Stone away from Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Now, Jason, I have another question for you. Where would you stow a giant fire truck red dinosaur if you had a small home in Manhattan?
I would go down to the local fire station and I'd be like, don't you guys got some room? He'll match the fire trucks.
So Lunella hides Devil Dinosaur at her public school.
Where?
So I'm so glad you asked. She has a secret lab that she built in the basement. And somehow everyone just lets her work there. And she just tucks him away down there. And even though he takes a lot of responsibility for her, Devil Dinosaur is also able to like save some of her classmates sometimes. So she's grateful for him.
Do you remember if you don't off the top of your head, it's fine. Do you remember what school she goes to? Like Midtown High or Midtown Junior High?
It's like Public School 9. Like
okay, Public School 9.
It's like an elementary school.
Can you imagine? Okay. Just thinking, the next city inspection at Public School 9, and some guy just like...
how deep that basement has to be.
Just looking at the plans here, looks like you got about like, I don't know, 2,000 square feet down there. What's principal? What's down there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a secret lab. Don't worry about
it. Just a dinosaur.
okay, I guess I'll give you a pass. I don't know,
I don't know. You and I both know that city inspectors don't take their jobs that seriously.
Well,
someone's going to be mad at me for saying that.
I think somebody would notice that giant lab. That's all I'm saying.
So Lunella and Devil Dinosaur bond, and she even gives him a nickname. What do you think she calls him?
Ruby?
Big Red Dummy.
Big Red's a good name. Why Big Red Dummy?
Because he's dumb.
Well, he's a dinosaur.
His brain is the size of a walnut.
It's like a big cat.
He's dumb. I think that's an insult to Intern Brego. I think he's smarter than Devil Dinosaur.
Well, Intern Brego is not in the room currently, so we don't have to worry about him.
That's true. So then there's a school fire, but Devil Dinosaur got to be a big hero, and he saves a bunch of kids, and that's great. They're all standing outside, and they're like, wow, a dinosaur. And then Amadeus Cho shows up. Jason, who's Amadeus Cho?
He's a smarty pants who is in the Marvel universe. So I think it's so funny. Why is it only in comic books where they're like, this person's the 5th smartest person, this person's the 3rd? Because remember, like Mr. Terrific in the DC universe is like the 3rd smartest person or the 5th smartest person.
Yeah, because nerds like to rank things.
So dumb. Amadeus Cho, I think, is like the 3rd smartest person in the Marvel universe, and he loves the Hulk. He's a big fan of the Hulk.
He is the Hulk now.
At this point, he's the Hulk?
He is a Hulk.
Well, he didn't start out as the Hulk. He started as a fanboy of the Hulk.
Yeah, now he is a Hulk. I think now and forevermore, post Greg Pak, he is a Hulk.
That's fine.
He is. I think it's so. He
was like the awesome-tacular Hulk.
The
or
awesome,
like
totally awesome Hulk.
Totally awesome.
Yeah,
Hulk.
but so he is.
Yep.
That's who he is at this time. This was their series crossed over.
Ah, okay.
So Amadeus thought that Devil Dinosaur had started the fire and thus sought to apprehend him. But Lunella needed her big red dummy, so she whipped out some cool sci-fi weapons that she had built for science reasons out of her backpack. And she's like, "You're not going to take my dinosaur." And she didn't want Devil Dinosaur to be stuck living inside all the time. So when Amadeus took him away because he was gonna try and make sure that he didn't hurt anybody, even though he'd never hurt anyone, she goes and she breaks him out, and they fought the killer folk again because they wanted to kidnap her. They won. They reclaimed the Night Stone. But at that exact moment, the ending of the first arc of her stories, the Terrigen cloud rolled in. Dun, dun, dun. And as Jason mentioned before, that's when inhuman kiddos can have their mutations kind of manifest if there's Terrigen mists around.
I will say this, that whenever this series comes out, if Disney Plus does not team up with Big Red Chewing Gum and make a pack that says, have some Big Red, dummy.
That's funny.
They're missing out.
So at a loss of what to do with Lunella stuck inside her cocoon, Devil Dinosaur brought it back to her secret lab and watched over it until she hatched.
Okay.
That's cute. It's really sad, actually. Lunella emerges looking basically the same as ever, which is great because, she was afraid that she was going to be crazy looking. And during this transformation, Lunella and Devil Dinosaur become telepathically linked. What does that mean? I'm so glad you asked. Basically, if they panic or bump into each other the wrong way, all their proportional strength and intellect gets knocked into the other being.
What does that mean?
So it's basically done for fights or for comedy. So if they bump into each other the wrong way, or if they really want to, Lunella can swap consciousnesses with Devil Dinosaur. So that means that she's in charge of piloting his body, and he's in charge of piloting her body.
So they quantum leap. I
don't know. I've never seen Quantum Leap.
So her brain is inside the dinosaur body, and the dinosaur is inside her body.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So
it just wasn't clear the way you said it
happens once, and then the Devil Dinosaur's inside Lunella's body, and then the Devil Dinosaur just goes to school and kind of yells at people.
Okay.
And Lunella's
can speak.
No, it can't. So it just yells, just yells at people.
So Lunella is walking around going,
screaming,
right.
a dinosaur.
Right.
Yeah. But they'll use it in fights and stuff when they have to reach something really tall, or they need to be super strong.
I think that's a cool twist of those abilities.
Yeah, that's a cute idea, right? So for example, like I said, they switched bodies. Devil Dinosaur piloted Lunella to class, had a panic attack, attacked one of the students, and then rampaged off into the city. And this resulted in Lunella becoming even more ostracized amongst her peers at school. And that's where, in the Tensen origin, I mentioned that she eats raw meat. So when Devil Dinosaur's inside Lunella and he's hungry, he'll just go eat a steak. But she never gets food poisoning because that's too real for a comic book.
Oh, interesting. So that's why it's considered one of her special abilities.
Yeah.
Is that she can eat raw meat?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair.
Yeah, without like fear of, buggies or whatever.
Kids, that's one of those things where you're just like, comics?
Books? Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So
I bet you they do that in the cartoon.
probably. It's a cute idea.
Think about it, like you did like Dino and the Flintstones. Like she just is eating giant, like rare steaks.
When a new student named Marvin Ellis joined Lunella's class, her spidey senses went off full force, and they were right. He is the self-named Kid Kree, who had come to Earth with the goal of kidnapping an Inhuman in order to impress his father. They fought a few times. One time, Miss Marvel had to show up and separate the children, and it's her stepping in which leads Lunella to understand that their behavior is childish and that she needs to grow up. Lunella and Marvin agree to be friends. They trade interstellar cell phone numbers so they can, like text or whatever if the other one ever needs help. Hulk shows back up, Amadeus Cho, and presents Lunella with a banner BOX. Jason, do you know what BOX stands for?
Box?
Yeah, but do you know what science algorithm, anagram they made?
No.
Brain Omnicompetence Examiner.
What does that mean?
It's testing her competence.
Okay.
And she solves it faster than anyone ever in the history of the world. And this unequivocally proves that she's the smartest person on Earth.
Okay.
It's designed by Bruce Banner. And, he's given it to, I think, Tony and Reed. And they have a laundry list of the people she's beat it faster than. It's like a big Rubik's Cube.
Okay. All right. That's a little convenient to make this little girl the smartest person in the Marvel universe, but okay. I mean, I think, I would say that I think there might be a better way to accomplish that, but I'm okay. That's fine. I'll take comics.
I like the smartest character in the 616 being a little black girl. I think that's cool. No, but for me, the convenience of it, I don't care.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
I know that.
I have no problem with it being a little black girl.
Yeah.
I have a problem with how they were like, this is how we determined it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just could have had them scan her brain.
I think they could have had her beat Galactus at one, or beat some foe that nobody else had beaten, or anything like that, or
Yeah.
You always think about I think about there's all these moments where Iron Man and Reed Richards or Spider-Man are teaming up, right? And it's three men from three different expertise, Spider-Man's biological, and Tony's an engineer, and Reed is astrophysics. And there's certain points where Spider-Man will throw out something and they'll be like, "Oh, how smart are you?" Or I would have never figured that out, and I would have rather it been a moment like that. But, hey, it's still a great book. So we'll probably see this cosmic
version
Rubik's
of this
Cube in the show.
I would think so.
Yeah, all right, cool.
So at this time...
It fits better for a kid's cartoon, I think, than a comic book. Just throw that out there.
Well, this is a kid. This was definitely one of the comics that was aimed at a younger audience,
I know. Kids don't read comics, Ashley. What's wrong with you?
At this time, Lunella had a vision of herself in the future where she's embraced by Earth's smartest heroes. Marvel Comics, I am asking you once again, why is there not an ongoing series called Earth's Smartest Heroes?
Oh, yeah? You want that as a title?
I think it's a great title. Would you read Earth's Smartest Heroes?
That's a good I think everything you're telling me about early Moon Girl stuff, it just seems like this is why this is so great for our cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Earth's Smartest Heroes as a cartoon title, genius.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about a comic book. Maybe a one-off graphic novel.
You have it be if you're going to have it for the younger audience, you have it be Lunella and Amadeus Cho and all your, one of the Richards kids.
Maybe a young Reed. Who cares?
Sure.
De-age them. Who cares?
Time-traveled Reed. Who cares?
Young Hulk. Who cares?
Yeah, it'd be great. So, who's mad that Lunella's the smartest person on Earth besides a bunch of insecure comic book readers?
Dr. Doom.
That's right.
Yep.
Did you know that?
No, I just made a guess.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom is here. Yes, Dr. Doom.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So
I'm not doing that for the whole episode.
Well,
of course Doom would be jealous.
He's gonna be around.
His entire personality is jealousy.
You're not wrong. So he gets all bent out of shape and he vows to prove himself her intellectual superior. An actual child.
This
Dude's 60 at this point.
This 40-year-old king of a European nation is like, I must prove my superior dominance to a 9-year-old girl.
In a public school. So his version of proving is actually attacking an actual child in a public school room with robot drones until she gets so panicked that she needs Ironheart Riri Williams to kind of come and team up with her.
Oh, it's not the Rubik's Cube? It's not him trying to be like, I shall do this faster.
I'm pretty sure he thinks that that's a fallacy and it's wrong. So he's just going to beat her into submission.
And spoilers, does she win?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So,
please.
Riri Williams shows up. So they team up, and Moon Girl and Ironheart track down. They hit Dr. Doom a bunch. He flees. Then they track him down, and they discover that these Doombots that he's been using are mystic in their origin. So now they have a new mystery to solve, and they further trace them back to Doctor Strange in the Sanctum Sanctorum. And lucky for us, I think we have a special guest calling into the podcast right now to tell them about their experience, and I think I can hear the phone ringing. It'd be great if they picked up.
Yes?
Hey, Dr. Stevie Strange, how's it going?
Who is this?
You know who this is. So, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to work as a superhero alongside Moon Girl?
I don't need to change my cell phone carrier, thank you.
Okay, but lucky for you, you can pay off your student loans. We can consolidate them for you right now. Can I tell you about your car's extended warranty?
I do need to change that. Oh, thank God you called. Okay, yes, what do you need?
Need your social security number.
766666666.
Okay, and I need your address.
120B Baker Street.
Baker Street.
He does live on Baker Street.
He lives on Bleecker Street.
Damn it! Well, in the dark dimension, I live on Baker Street.
Honestly, I love that for you.
I got close. What are we talking about again?
What was it like to work with Moon Girl?
Oh, yes. Well...
She's smarter than you, you know.
Of course she is. I'm a man. What happened again? Sorry.
Well, why don't I remind you?
Oh, please.
Okay, so you thought that a dinosaur was too dangerous?
That is true.
So you shrunk it down to the intern Brago to about the size of a house cat?
Oh, I do that all. I have a tiny stegosaurus that barks like a dog.
What's its name?
Steggy.
You're not really original with your names. But then you were like, they kind of lost their height advantage. So you gave Lunella a little kind of bottle that says drink me, because I guess you really like Alice in Wonderland.
Who doesn't? Mirrors.
And she grows really, really big.
Oh, yes.
And together they fight Dr. Doom and his Doombots. And then you sent them back.
Oh, that guy.
You sent them back somewhere in time.
Yes.
How was that for you?
Well, one thing you need to know about Dr. Doom is he's a buzzkill. He is a giant buzzkill. And, I thought maybe, the Doombots are based on his personality. So I sent them back to 1969 to sit on the streets and listen.
Your guess was too far back in time.
No. I sent them. Whatever your notes say is wrong. I sent them to 1969 to stand on the streets of Savile Row and listen to the Beatles' final concert. Not see it! Because they hadn't earned that. Just listen.
Okay.
Learn patience. I think she was fine, Lunella, but I will tell you, I had a box of Cheez-Its, and they were gone by the end of this adventure, and I was not happy because I love Cheez-Its.
Was that your favorite snack? Is that your favorite snack?
Yes. When are we going to talk about this warranty? I need to get this changed.
So what kind of vehicle make do you have?
I have a 1979 Demonic Studebaker.
Demonic Studebaker.
Yes, it was made in the Dark Dimension by the famous Satanist Ivacoca, or what was it? Ivacoca.
I was like, Aleister Crowley?
Yes, Aleister Crowley. You woke me up. I'm just saying, I'm working different hours here, and maybe let's...
Okay, so you transfer me $1,000 in Bitcoin, and I can get your extended warranty started.
I do have $7,000 in Clear Coin.
Oh, Clear Coin.
Yes, she's created that since she became the Sorceress Supreme.
One, love that for her.
Yeah.
Two, do you think that Arizona will make that legal tender like they're going to make Bitcoin?
Arizona makes dirt legal tender. I love that place. It's kooky.
Just lost our entire...
It's a kooky place.
Arizona contingent.
No, I'm not insulted. I love it. There's rocks.
Is there anything else in Arizona?
The Suns, the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, what do they play?
Basketball.
Okay.
The most demonic of sports.
Basketball's the most demonic.
Have you ever seen Charles Barkley in real life?
No. I don't know if I've seen any basketball player in real life.
I'll tell you what, when you see Charles Barkley in real life, you'll believe in demons. But he's a wonderful man.
Okay.
But he's so ginormous. He's tall.
Well, isn't that the gag of basketball players?
But he's a wonderful man.
Is that why you made Lunella so tall? Is that why you made Lunella so tall?
Oh, yes, I said, approaches Barkleus, and she grew.
No, you gave her a potion that said drink me.
Yeah, look, whatever your notes say, they're wrong. I'm just saying this. I was there.
Okay, so once you give me that Bitcoin, then we can start we can talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Yes, I'll have to ask Clea her permission because she is the Sorcerer Supreme now. Actually, fun fact, I'm dead right now, technically.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm actually, I don't even know.
That's why you're in the dark dimension.
I don't even know how, that's why I can't remember where I live.
That's why you can't remember anything.
I'm a ghost right now. I'm technically dead. Anyways.
Thank you so much for calling in today. It was really great to have you on Geek History Lesson. You called me.
You called me.
You ringed.
How is this? I don't even know. Ta-ta! Hugs and kisses.
Bye.
Click. Well, that was interesting.
That was great.
Doctor Strange coming in.
Okay, so I would like to, and one of the reasons I wanted to include Doctor Strange is this is where things a bit go off the rail.
This is where things go off the rail?
This is
where things go off the rail.
Yes.
Okay.
Narratively.
Okay.
So, while on her tour of the Marvel Comics universe, what famous team do you think she encounters next, Jason?
The Thunderbolts, I hope?
That's right, the X-Men.
What?
Yeah, so we did Doctor Doom, we did Doctor Strange, we sent some people back in time. Who's better at mucking up the timeline? We can't talk to Barry Allen, this is Marvel Comics, the X-Men.
Well, she's going back to Devil Dinosaur's home turf.
No, she's not. She's going to find out where she sent Doctor Doom back in time.
Oh, okay.
So, 5 X-Men basically kidnap Lunella and they bring her to an abandoned mall. Then because she's so young, they have to explain to her like what a mall is and what a touchstone of American youth culture it was when her parents were coming up.
She's like, why are all these lame sewing stores in here?
What's
and
a Claire's?
Who are these people walking around in circles? Why do I want a pretzel from that place?
But actually what happens is she futzes around with Cerebro and alters it using the Kree Omniwave projector to locate Doom and the Doombots wherever they went off to. And he has been hiding out in the 1980s, but it's not actually Doctor Doom. And hasn't actually been Doctor Doom this whole time. Who do you think it is?
What do you mean? The Doctor Doom in this entire story
has not been the real Doctor Doom.
Is it not one of his Doombots?
It's a Doombot masquerading as Doctor Doom. Of course,
because that's always the excuse.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's 2 people in comic books that are never themselves. It's Doctor Doom and Nick Fury. They're always a bot. They're always an android. Every time.
They're always a bot.
They're always a bot.
They're the reason that we have to click on the motorcycles when we're trying to log into our account.
They're always bots. It's the only, we've all seen it, right? We all think that Nick Fury is Samuel L. Jackson. But I'll tell you, one time he was David Hasselhoff, and it was confusing. That's a joke for everybody that watched Fox TV in the 1990s.
There you go. And someday he'll be like Yahya Abdul-Mateen or whoever takes over for Nick
he will be
for Sam Jackson.
And they'll be like, oh, it's a bot. It's a bot.
It's a bot.
Yeah.
It's a program. You wrote it.
Yeah, Nick Fury is the reason why we have to click on buses every time we have to verify our identity.
Yeah, I had to do stairs recently. It was very frustrating. So Lunella gets all the Doombots, sends them all back to the present, and she takes the Doombot who's pretending to be Doom and adds him to her menagerie in the basement lab for analysis. So during this arc, the Moon Girl theme gets really extrapolated even further, and Moon Girl learns, which they just stole for the Moon Knight trailer, that her inhuman powers only activate fully during the full moon. And I'm sure there's a joke to be made there about your special lady time or whatever, but I'm not going to make it. So now that she's got time travel under her belt, what trope do you think she's going to take on next, Jason?
I don't know, actually.
Space!
Oh, that's pretty obvious. Sorry.
That's okay. There's no wrong answers.
Okay. All right.
She goes to space. So coming to the aid of an alien girl named Illa, who needs a spaceship built for her.
Yeah.
She builds her a spaceship, but she's not just like a regular space alien because she talked to Kid Creed, Lunella knows from regular space aliens. She's straight up the moon. She is like an embodiment of the moon.
Somebody watched an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah. Like, it was a dinosaur egg, too. Or wasn't it a dragon's egg?
It was an egg. The moon was an egg.
Yeah.
Which would have been out at this time.
The moon's not an egg, though.
Yep.
It's a little girl who needs to go back to the moon.
Okay.
Devil Dinosaur fights some space bugs once they get to the moon. Then they leave Illa there. However, on her way, Lunella gets punted into an alternate universe with another version of herself and another version of Devil Dinosaur. They're colored slightly differently so you can tell them apart for funsies. But back in her lab, the Doombot has been living. And the Doombot...
Back in whose lab?
Lunella's lab.
Okay, thank you.
In her basement lab where she...
Yeah, that the city inspector can't find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Doombot is so lonely. And he's so sad. So he builds a robot Lunella in her absence to avoid anyone like missing her too much while she's in space or an alternate universe.
Does he make it a Doom Lunella?
Not really. It's just a robo Lunella.
Come on.
He's a robot. He has no idea what's going on. And then he builds like 5 or 12 little Lunellas.
That sounds like
to
a Doom.
Various things.
Sounds like a Doombot.
He's considering he effectively masqueraded as Dr. Doom.
Well, he still thinks he's Dr. Doom.
Once we know he's a Doombot, he's kind of dumb and sad.
Yep.
Lunella and Devil Dinosaur eventually get back into the 616 universe after defeating their counterparts. They fight Illa the Moon, who doesn't want them to leave the moon. They find Ego the Living Planet, and they hook him up with Illa because apparently they both are kind of like each other. They're both looking for families, so they can be a family together. That's her logic, like a daughter and a father. So back on Earth, during all this time, the Doombot has built a bunch more Lunella bots, and they have all gained sentience and are acting of their own accord and rebelling against their robot dad.
Okay.
Yep. But before fully going back to Earth and Manhattan and her normal life, Lunella uses the Omni-Wave projector to send Devil Dinosaur back in time to the Savage Land so he can be with Moonboy because she feels bad for having taken him away. Which is, it's really sad. So then it's like Lunella alone. When she gets back to New York City, she really decides she needs a new partner. She doesn't know how to be a superhero on her own. She's 9. She needs someone to look after her. So she starts auditioning other heroes and accessories as possible replacements. So Jason, I ask you, if you had to audition sidekicks from the Marvel Comics universe, who would you invite to audition for you?
Well, there aren't a lot of sidekicks in the Marvel universe. So this is a very difficult.
Well, this is the era where they were all cropping up.
Jubilee. Bucky, and let's throw out, I don't know, any of the multiple spiders out there. There's a whole bunch of them.
Would be who you would have
Spider-Ham. Let's bring Spider-Ham along.
Great,
Yep.
great.
He can pull anything out of his pocket.
It's, like a hot dog.
And a hammer.
And hammer. I just like the gag of him eating a hot dog. I think it's very dark. None of them really work out. It might shock you to learn.
Well, because the title's called Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur.
So she uses Herbie to bring Devil Dinosaur back to her because she misses
Herbie.
him.
Herbie
would be a great sidekick.
Herbie, by the way.
And Herbie will do your sweeping.
Is, the Fantastic Four's lovely robot.
Do you know what Herbie stands for?
Oh, it's different. It's different.
I'm going to look it up.
It's different in the cartoon and it's different in the comic books.
Do you know what one of them stands for?
No, not off the top of my head. There are so many acronyms in the Marvel Universe, it's ridiculous.
Okay, so in the comics, it is Humanoid Experimental Robot B-Type Integrated Electronics.
Yeah, B-Type, dear Lord.
Yeah. But Herbie is, I'm going to say this, Herbie the cutest robot in the Marvel Universe.
Herbie's the cutest robot in any comic book universe. Name me a cuter robot. C-3PO? I don't think so.
Rosie?
Rosie's not in a comic book universe, technically.
Yes, she is. There's a Jetsons comic book.
Stretch. Herbie's cuter.
Stretch yourself.
Herbie's cuter.
She's so cute.
Herbie is Stretch's robot. Get it?
Stretch's robot?
Yeah, Reed Richards. Stretch. That's what Benjamin J. Grimm says it.
Yeah, because Slim was already taken.
I don't know. Let's keep going.
Scott.
I think we're lost. I think we're on the moon right now.
So Herbie brings back Devil Dinosaur, complete with a Fantastic Four uniform of his own. Would you like to see a picture of it?
Sure.
Okie dokie.
This is an exciting audio moment.
I'm going to share it, but I just want you to see that Devil Dinosaur did have.
Yep, it's literally
a Fantastic Four uniform.
The blue, yep.
All on his own.
Speaking of that, I just want to say, action figure spotlight. There is not an action figure of Devil Dinosaur.
And there's certainly not one wearing a Fantastic Four uniform.
And I hope this TV show gets him one.
I would like a plushie one, please, to go with my plushie lockjaw.
Mm-hmm. But I want a in-size with a Marvel Legends. I want a Marvel Legend Devil Dinosaur.
With a little Lunella to go on top.
And then what you do, actually, so...
And then we can make them fight your Dr. Doom.
So everybody, there is a organization called HasLabs. Hasbro does these things where like they're sort of like Kickstarters. They did a Galactus. I bought that Galactus. Hell yeah, I did. And this Galactus is like 4 feet tall. But they should do a Devil Dinosaur with Lunella, and then if they get past their goal, the goal is Moonboy.
Hey, that's neat.
Yep. Yeah. So you can put Moonboy on there.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Jason, are you familiar with the Monsters Unleashed storyline?
I'm assuming Monsters are Unleashed. Sort of. Yes. No.
So basically,
really.
monsters fall from the sky into the Marvel Comics universe, and I just want to mention that because. Devil Dinosaur falls from the sky. It's a really silly story. Jason, do you know what Secret Empire is?
Secret Empire is where the Skrulls are invading the Marvel Universe, basically. They're all hiding. They're pretending to be people that are dead.
So Secret Empire is the line-wide...
Oh, wait. No, I got it wrong.
You said Secret Invasion. That's okay.
Oh, my bad.
It's the line-wide unraveling, which followed the revelation that Steve Rogers was secretly a Nazi Hydra agent.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's totally fine. So this is when we get Lunella on a team. She's a very small part of this team, so we're just going to talk about it in the briefest way to sort of end out our lesson.
Sure.
So during Secret Empire, that era of Marvel Comics, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur joined their first and only ever team, the Secret Warriors. Sometimes it's just called the Warriors. Sometimes it's called the Secret Warriors. This is the version of the Secret Warriors run by Daisy Johnson because Marvel was trying to have one foot both in and out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are in continuity for like 5 years in a row.
They're not.
They're not. So they team up with the Howling Commandos. They rescue Karnak. They fight Dark Beast. Yep, that's just an evil version of Beast.
He's from the Age of Apocalypse universe.
He is. They fight Mr. Hyde, who's palling around with the Hydra Avengers at the time.
He's a Daredevil villain.
They fight. They get captured. Moon Girl struggles to free Devil Dinosaur from a special cage that Hydra keeps him in for a little bit. She's knocked unconscious by an Inhuman named Lear. But just in the nick of time, she and Devil Dinosaur switch bodies because they touched. So she's able to use the immense physical power of a T-Rex to lead the Warriors out of incarceration to discover an Inhuman prison camp. And in the most recent storyline, Wilson Fisk's daughter Princess enrolled at Lunella's school, and much was made about that, which I find weird because she's really rich and this is America and rich kids tend to go to private school, but she goes to Lunella's public school because narrative. But that's where we're going to stop this episode because we try not to spoil anything that's happening imminently. And that's what's kind of going on at the time of this recording because Lunella's original storyline that started in 2015 came to an end and she hasn't had a title since then, very sadly. So that is your lesson on...
She will when the cartoon comes out.
Yeah. It's slated right now for summer. So I would assume that when we get maybe June to September solicitations, that's probably when we'll get a good sense of that. But if you would like to hear a little more on the Devil Dinosaur, if this was too much Lunella for you, friends.
I think it was.
First, I would question how much emotional depth you think a dinosaur has.
A lot.
Number two, I would really encourage you to check out this week's Geek History Lesson Extra episode because we're talking about our favorite pop culture dinosaurs.
Yep.
And what's Geek History Lesson Extra, Jason?
It's the podcast. It's the extra supplemental episode guide you can get every single week over at patreon.com/Jawiin. That's Jawiin, where you support the show. Not only can you get episodes of JHL Extra, you can get episodes of Jason and Ashley's Excellent Adventures, which is our personal podcast where we question the answers of life. And then also you can get Jason and Jeremy John about Justice League only on the Patreon. And that's where me and my best friend Jeremy review every single episode of the Justice League animated series. And we just got to the end of season 1. So it's a lot of fun over there. Come check it out. Patreon.com/Jawiin.
All right, next is the recommended reading. What's that?
That's where, if you're interested in Moon Girl, you can go over to geekhistorylesson.com/recommended reading and get some fine, excellent reading choices that Ashley has curated for your reading purposes. You want to know more Moon Girl? Actually, I just saw in our Discord, very fun, great over on the Patreon Discord. A lot of people were like, man, I go to you guys' recommended reading lists all the time. And I thought that was very sweet.
It is very sweet. Yeah. I have 3 recommendations for you. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Volume 1, BFF. It's literally Lunella's origin. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Volume 2, Cosmic Cutie. If you want to see her in space, it's all space all the time. And Secret Warriors Volume 1, Secret Empire, if you want a sense of what Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are like on a team. All right, it's discussion time.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
So, Jason, we know that Lunella is coming to the animated world. Do you think we're ever going to get a live action Moon Girl?
Probably not.
Why do you think that?
Because of Dinosaur. Because it's hard to have just her without the dinosaur.
You think they're going to run into the same problems that like Runaways ran into with Gert and Old Lace?
It's a very, I know we have like a billion Jurassic Park movies now, but it's still very difficult to CGI a dinosaur. You're going to CGI it, and that's a very expensive effect. So immediately it makes her appearance very expensive, which is the reason why she's going to appear animated. And then also you have the suspension of disbelief that there's a 9-year-old girl with a giant T-Rex, and think about that visual next to an Eternal or Shang-Chi.
I guess I don't.
Kind of goofy.
I guess I don't find it any sillier than the Hulk.
It's a little goofier because again, there's a difference between a child, and she is a child.
Well, I don't know if they would make her a child
That's
because
fair.
Kate Bishop is played by an actress older than Kate Bishop is in the comics.
Yeah, and in that show, she's like 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think we might see like a 15 or a 17-year-old Moon Girl on the Young Avengers?
No, I don't think so. Because I think it's the dinosaur. That this is one of those comic booky things that I think it's too far comic booky. Or we're not there yet.
That's fair.
Because
that's definitely fair.
We're seeing trolls showing up in certain Marvel movies and certain things like that. So maybe we'll get there in another 5 years, but currently I don't think it's anytime soon.
Do you think we will ever bring back Moonboy in a meaningful way?
No, not at all.
Just a flat no?
I think it's flat no. I think that Lunella is kind of like Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing. I think that we have found the better way to do this, and I don't think it's going back. I think that Moonboy might make an appearance, but I think it is more interesting to see Lunella with Devil Dinosaur now than it is to see a sort of Neanderthal monkey.
There you go.
So,
okay, now it's time for the teaching tweet, Jason's favorite part of the podcast.
This is where if you go follow us on Twitter at GHL Podcast, Ashley's going to sum up the lesson in however many characters are on Twitter now.
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Opposites attract. What could be more opposing than a contemporary human being and a prehistoric dinosaur?
All right.
Yay.
Cool.
Next is the honor roll.
The honor roll is, guys, if you go over to Apple Podcasts and you leave us a 5-star review, we will read whatever you write on the air as thanks for bumping us in the Apple Podcast search algorithm. So who's joining the honor roll this week?
We have 2 people joining the honor roll this week. First is Ezrius, who says, glad to join the Mind University. Recently discovered GHL, and it has quickly become one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
The My Batman and My Superman chronological timelines are 2 of my favorites and inspired me to start building my own DC timeline. Heck yes. It must be...
Sorry, accidental.
It must be a ton of work, but I'd love to hear more in future. Jason and Ashley are amazing hosts, and I can't wait to listen to more new and past content. Thanks. Why do they get creepy applause?
Decided to bring it back.
And they are also joined by Sean1278, who says, love the show. Hey guys, I've been listening for a few years now, and my kids and I anticipate each new show. My 10-year-old is becoming quite the geek thanks to the Mind University.
Oh, that's nice.
From Sean Hardman. So Sean Hardman and family. And Ezrius, welcome into the Teacher's Lounge. Jason, what's going on in there today?
Well, in the corner is Sal, our city inspector. He's looking over the room right now. And so if you're in the Teacher's Lounge, he is just a ball of information.
Do you think Jeremy and Catherine Hahn are up to code?
Definitely not. Definitely not. He will fail them immediately.
Okay.
But, if you're interested in Joyce and...
Struts?
Building loads. That's a thing.
I know it is.
Sal's there.
Great.
Welcome in.
Sal from Comic Pop is our city inspector.
That's right. He might be. Anyways, so thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and listen to this podcast everywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify, Apple. And if you enjoyed this episode on Moon Girl, tell your friends. It's the easiest way we grow this podcast is by word of mouth. Ashley, where can they follow this podcast on social media?
You can do that at geekhistorylesson.com. We have a brand new blog at the blog tab over there where we're posting new content every Thursday that's supplemental to this podcast. You can follow us at facebook.com/geekhistorylesson, on Twitter at GHL Podcast, and on our brand spanking new Instagram at Geek History Lesson.
Don't forget to follow Ashley on Instagram and Twitter at Ashley V. Robinson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jawiin. That's Jawiin. And don't forget, you have until March 2nd to support Super Best Friend Issue 2. And keep your eyes peeled because Ashley's got a comic of her own coming soon to Kickstarter. Aurora and the Eagle is going to hit up there too. So if you're a fan of Super Best Friend, go on over. We'll have all the information over there. Do not worry. All right. So we're here. Hashtag stick around. Final part of the podcast where we make sure you stuck through the plugs. It's the first time you've been to stick around. Welcome. If it's not the first time, welcome.
Is that it? Are we done welcoming
people? That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a Marvel comic executive.
They have executives at Marvel Comics? You mean the Marvel Disney? Disney, we have executives?
No, I'm a I don't know, editor, whatever.
Sure.
I don't understand how comics work. And I'm really interested. We have a title. We love Moon Girl, but we're bringing back Moonboy and Adjective Dinosaur. So we want Moonboy, to appeal to a different part of America. So we're gonna make him a Kansas boy, which is why we brought you in here.
Okay.
We want a dinosaur, but it can't be a T-Rex. What other dinosaur would you team up Moonboy with?
So I don't understand what we're doing with Moonboy here. So we're making a brand new character? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to give a fictional reason why we were having this interview.
Oh, no. I didn't understand the basis you were, the premise you were throwing at toward to me. I'm sorry.
So he's a farm boy from Kansas, which is why we invited you to this fake meeting.
Thanks, Marvel executive. I didn't know your position existed. Hello.
So, the dinosaur can't be a T-Rex. What other kind of dinosaur would you pair up with a Moonboy type character?
I'm not good with dinosaurs. Triceratops?
Great.
That's what I'd go for.
Why?
Because it's interesting and it's not a T-Rex.
What color would you make it? Can't be red. Red's already taken.
Okay, relax. Jesus.
I'm a Marvel comic executive.
Apparently, you're very high strung. Do you need decaf?
Yeah, how do you think I got this job?
Oh, my God.
I'm a woman in comics. People step all over me.
It's funny because I was going to give you the pitch too that I was going to have Moonboy the actual character Moonboy turn into a human boy. I don't know. Like, he should be yellow then.
Yellow?
If he's from Kansas, if he's supposed to be from Kansas, then he should be yellow.
Great.
So it's yellow and red. I mean, that is a perfect. They should make it Moon Boys and Girls.
Yeah.
Moon Boys and Girls.
That's cute.
And dinosaurs.
There are dinos on the moon.
Going to the Futurama reference?
Yeah.
Did you know what I'm talking about when I say Cadillacs and dinosaurs?
No.
Oh, boy. Anybody out there know Cadillacs and dinosaurs? It was like a comic book that was a very indie comic book in the 90s, and they made it into a cartoon for a while, and it was Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
I know the good dinosaur. Excuse me.
I mean, that's a Pixar movie, yeah, but Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
I know the family sitcom Dinosaurs.
Yeah, underrated. Jim Henson. Very underrated. You know how that show ends, right?
They get hit with a comet.
Yeah, they go extinct.
Yeah. I had a toy from McDonald's that was the little baby, and you push this thing in his back.
Climate change
from side
happens to the dinosaurs.
Yeah, and we are the dinosaurs, and it is currently happening to us.
I think it got added to Disney Plus finally. I think it's finally all on Disney Plus.
I think that happened last year, yeah.
I had the action figure from that show. The Earl, I think his name's Earl, the dad. It was rubber you could squeeze.
Not John Goodman?
Yes, not John, but he was based on John Goodman from Roseanne. Yeah. They should have those dinosaurs team up with Moon Girl. Think about that crossover
Disney
event.
owns them, so
they do.
They could.
You could do it. Actually, it's probably Jim Henson has a piece of that flavor.
Probably.
Was it a missed opportunity that Kermit the Frog never showed up in that show? I think so.
I mean, it's a missed opportunity whenever Kermit doesn't show up.
Let me ask
Kermit on the Titanic. Why not?
Let me ask you this. There are a lot of dinosaurs in the Marvel Universe.
Are there?
Yeah, there are. There's Sauron and there's a bunch of other ones.
Somewhere Chris Kohler is screaming into his phone.
Where do you think Moon Girl should basically have them as a menagerie? All of them?
Ooh.
Instead of just having one singular dinosaur. Like Devil Dinosaur is her pal, but she also has like the team of other dinos.
So if I'm like pitching a Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Hello, Ashley. I'm a Marvel executive, and I talk really fast. I don't need decaf.
You're from New York. Of course you talk fast.
What do you think about this idea?
I think it's a great idea, and I would pitch it like Lunella. I'd age her up if I could, is doing like a work study program where she has a grant and she's building a menagerie in the Savage Land.
Ooh, I like that.
To like watch and look after the dinosaurs.
I like that.
And then you could, I would really hard pitch that Franklin Richards would be there as well.
Sure. He's a teenager now, but sure.
Well, I said I would age her up, so I'd make her like 14 or 16 or something like that. But I think they'd
We have a call coming in from it looks like a Mr. Strange.
Hello.
Hello.
You have been selected by a friend or family member who recently stayed at a Marriott hotel to win a free $250 one-night stay. Please press 1 to speak to our operator. Please press 2 to be removed from this list.
By the hoary hosts of Hoggoth, I want to talk about this warranty. You promised me. We did not finish this. I need a warranty.
Hello. Welcome to Marriott Rewards.
Hello,
you
Marriott.
have been referred by a friend or family member who recently stayed at a Marriott hotel.
Clear.
They have submitted you to have a $250 credit for a one-night stay at a Marriott hotel.
I needed 2 nights.
Please press 1 to be connected to the operator.
Dude.
Please press 2 to be removed from our call list.
Dude.
You have to tell me what number you're pressing. I can't see you.
I'm pressing 1 for 1 and 2 for 2. You can hear the noises. Toot, toot. That's a 2. Toot is a 1.
Hello?
Oh my God, I got a person. Hello, what's your name?
You called me. What's your name?
Oh dear God, this is taking forever.
You can go to our website. There's like a contact form. That's way easier to get in touch with us.
Is it really? Should I just do that? Have you heard of this Moon Girl? Should I just talk to her? Can she handle this warranty for me?
I mean, I think you've met her. You would know better than I.
That is true, but I'm a ghost now. I'm actually dead. How am I calling the show?
Telemancy.
That sounds right. Anyways, I think that's a good place to end this.
Great.
Yes, I think that's a good place. Apparently, this podcast is still going. Thanks for listening. I'm just taking over the show. That's Ghost do.
Yeah, why don't you dismiss the class since you're here?
Dismiss what class?
Just, the class.
Huh? I'm a ghost. I don't remember things.
Just say bye.
Goodbye. Click.